Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another update. In this update, we're going to be talking about a major winter storm with a damaging ice storm, heavy snow, and severe cold. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family on social media. All right. So let's get started. Let's start off with the latest watches and warnings. We got a lot to go over in this video, so stay to it to the end. This is very important for a huge chunk of the country. So we got winter storm watches going on right now for the Pacific Northwest. I've been kind of talking about Portland's going to be getting snow, and I do feel like they're under a winter storm watch right now. They're going to be expecting 2 to 6 inches in Portland, so that would be a rare event. You don't see snow very often up there. And so, yeah, we got winter storm watches in Washington and Oregon. And we also have winter weather advisories all the way down for the further south into some freezing rain territory in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and western parts of Texas, into Oklahoma, into Arkansas, Missouri, into Illinois. And we have a damaging ice storm. It's going to be happening in places like Little Rock, going into Kentucky. Some serious stuff, guys. And then as we continue to go up, we'll have a lot of the winter weather advisories continue into West Virginia, going into Pennsylvania, and all up the northeast coast. So let me kind of walk you through and how all this is going to play out. Here is this morning's temperatures. Here's the latest NAM. It's got us at 34 at DFW. Every model has been warm. This has been model busting cold weather, Arctic air. This is true Arctic air we haven't seen in many years. So yeah, I mean, even the NAM has been behind. It's been about 6 degrees behind. So you can see well below average temperatures, negative temperatures, 20, 30 below, well north. And as that Arctic air will continue to press further south. But we've got ice to deal with right now in Texas and Oklahoma, where those temperatures are dropping into the upper 20s, and we're starting to get impacts on the roads. And as that, here's your depiction. Here's your pink is your freezing rain, your orange is your sleet, your blue is your snow, and then the green is rain. So as this comes across, there's going to be an icy setup. We've got cold air pressing. This Arctic air is shallow. It's about 2,200 feet from the surface all the way to 2,200 feet. Up above, at 3,300 feet, it's about 20 degrees warmer. So we have warm air pressing from the south. We've got cold Arctic air coming in. It melts and then refreezes on contact. And that is a dangerous setup for portions of that we're going to go over here as we get into Missouri, into Illinois, and especially into Kentucky as we continue throughout the day. And this is a long duration event because by Thursday, these temperatures drop even further. That rain, that freezing rain line dips further into Texas, bringing that freezing rain further into Texas and further into Arkansas, Missouri, and Tennessee. And as you can see, by the time Thursday morning, the 11th, we're kind of locked in now. I mean, I feel like Dallas is going to be inundated with ice for Thursday morning. And then especially like places like Little Rock, getting into southern Missouri, getting into western parts of Tennessee, and all of Kentucky is going to be shut down. I mean, it's just dangerous, crippling ice in Kentucky coming up for you guys. And to West Virginia, and then we'll also transition to snow. So we're going to have more snow for the Northeast. Places like Pittsburgh, another 1 to 3 inches. Places like Philly, another 1 to 3 inches coming from this setup. Jersey, getting into Washington, D.C., the northwest flow is prevalent. I mean, a 1060 Arctic high pressure. I mean, that is unheard of. That is some serious cold weather. And this is something, like I said, we haven't seen in many years. And as this continues to press south, this is Friday morning on February the 12th. You can see the freezing line still in Texas. We haven't tapped into the Arctic air just yet, but it is coming in a big way. And we've got widespread teens. We're still well below freezing. So anything that falls in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, it's just not going to melt for days and days and days. I mean, we're just talking treacherous travel conditions. The Pacific Northwest flow just continues with very heavy snow for you guys in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana. I mean, this is just a very active pattern. And then by Thursday, that again, we're still dealing with that severe ice over Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky's. Like I mentioned, this is a long duration event, not for several hours. We're talking 2 days of just crippling ice, and that could just accumulate on top of each other as temperatures continue to fall with that Arctic air in place. And by Friday morning, we do tend to dry out a little bit further south. But man, we've got heavy snow just really raking over the Northwest. I mean, like I said, I feel like places in Washington and Oregon could pick up several feet of snow in some of these areas. It's just some crazy stuff that's on the way. And we got still rain to the south, where that warm air is still being inundated from the south, but that cold air continues to press. And where that meets, that's that overrunning conditions. And that's just going to be a continuous setup as we go throughout the week. Here's by Saturday morning. So that colder air, now we're going to start tapping into that Arctic air for the deep south as we go into the day on Saturday. So if we wake up in the morning, we've got widespread below zero temperatures extending all the way into Nebraska. We've got teens for the Northwest. The only place in town that's warm is Florida. And that's the only place it's going to be. I mean, it's still milder in the southeast, but pretty warm in Miami. It doesn't actually get out of the 80s for the next 10 days in Miami. So you're not going to be impacted from this severe cold snap. But as we get into the day on Saturday morning, we're going to be dealing with more just freezing rain in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then just heavier snow. Another system coming across into Nebraska, into Kansas. More snow for Iowa. You've been just crushed this year. Into Minnesota, into places like Wisconsin. Heavier snow now in Michigan. I mean, this will continue, and then just more ice for Virginia. I mean, sleet for Washington, D.C., up the coast in Delaware, Baltimore, up the coast in, let's say, Dover and southern Jersey. And this is Saturday morning, February the 13th. And we take a look at the ice. I mean, this is just between Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So those 4 days, for the next 4 days between now and Saturday morning, this is the ice that we're talking about. I mean, here's the graph down below. We're talking anywhere from a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch in and around Texas over that time frame. Then we could get into some crippling, damaging ice in places like Little Rock, Lexington, Kentucky, Bowling Green, Kentucky. So this is just some serious stuff into Western Tennessee. These places could pick up 1.5, upwards to 2 inches is not out of the question. Unfortunately, that is some serious damaging power lines, power out. I mean, it's not going to be pretty, guys. I mean, it's just, there's no else to tell about it. Going into Virginia, West Virginia, I mean, here in the Pacific Northwest, we do have a slither on top of the snow, some more ice for you guys. And here's your snow. Just again, over the next 4 days, you can see some of the heavier amounts into West Virginia, going into Virginia. Places like DC could pick up another 5 to 8 inches. Pittsburgh, you just had 6 inches yesterday. Just more snow for you guys going into southern Pennsylvania, going into Jersey, Delaware, even New York City, Long Island could pick up more snow out of this system. The heart of the country, north central, 5 to 8 inches, and more snow in Iowa. I mean, it keeps adding up, right? And then here's the latest GFS model. Kind of implies the same thing. Has a little bit heavier bullseye over, say, Washington, D.C., Baltimore. So we could have a bullseye of a foot. I mean, some of these places could definitely overperform over the next several days with this system coming across. And you can see the heavier snows in Oklahoma, I mean, Kansas, getting into Nebraska, and just the Northwest. I mean, just a lot of snow. And then we have another system. And now this is where it just gets devastating for the South. We have that Arctic front starts to really penetrate and get further south. Now we could see some snow breaking out. Look at that, a 1040 Arctic high pressure. and Kansas by the time we get to Saturday at noontime. And we could be dealing with some sleet. We could be dealing with more freezing rain for in and around Dallas, into Oklahoma. More freezing rain for Virginia and get into Baltimore. So it's just compacting of snow, sleet, ice, just a inundated. And then here's the Pacific Northwest, just more heavy snow for you guys. And then here's by the time we get to Sunday. This is Valentine's Day, and this is where the true Arctic air comes into play. I mean, we're down to 21 in Dallas. We're down to almost 3 in the panhandle of Texas, single digits in Oklahoma, negatives as we get into Kansas, Missouri, and then Iowa, just with that snow, just 31 below zero. I mean, that's just crazy stuff, guys. This is dangerous. I wish I had better news because this is something I've never seen in a long time. Okay, so as we continue moving across through Sunday morning, we have yet another system diving in. That's when the true Arctic air comes in. On the backside, we have the system coming across. We've got a lot of lift, so we could be talking heavier snows now in the four corner regions of Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, getting into places like Kansas, more heavier snow into Oklahoma, more sleet for Texas, rain on the south side still. And as we continue moving across in the day on Sunday, that snow line drips a little bit further south, and we got some heavier snows creeping in into portions of the panhandle of Texas. And as we get more snow for Kansas into Oklahoma, so you can see this colder air start to press. And by Monday, so we're talking Monday, February the 15th, that's when we have a second surge of really truly Arctic air for the deep south. We've got negative temperatures in Texas. That is some crazy stuff that's going to be taking place. These negatives drop all the way down in Missouri. I mean, how often do you see 14 below zero in Missouri? I mean, that is some very cold stuff. Even in Louisiana, I mean, 18 degrees. That's just a rare event as this continues to press south. And as it presses south, we got that Arctic air in place. We have a system coming across, and look at that, a 1042 Arctic high pressure in the panhandle of Texas. That is some crazy stuff. That is something you see way up in the Arctic, okay? You don't see that in Texas. I mean, we're talking heavy snow in the panhandle, sleet over, Dallas, and further south into Waco, get into San Antonio, freezing rain as this continues moving across. And then as we go, throughout the day on Monday, I just think Texas is going to be closed. I mean, heavy snow in Dallas, sleet, a lot of sleet in Houston, freezing rain all the way down to the coast. This extends even snow in El Paso. It just doesn't snow in El Paso. We're talking snow in El Paso, right? And it doesn't snow in Louisiana that often. I mean, we're talking a kind of a rare event as this continues moving across. Freezing rain all the way down to the coast. I mean, this is kind of unheard of as this continues moving across into sleet, freezing rain. And then unfortunately, as this lifts up by Tuesday morning, I mean, back behind that Arctic front, crazy. I mean, I've never seen a model so low. I mean, there's been several runs now. We go negative, below zero in Dallas. I mean, that would be something that hasn't happened in 30 years, since 1989. So this could be the coldest outbreak since the 80s. I mean, 83, 85, 89. That was some historic Arctic outbreaks. So, I mean, we're talking 6 degrees below zero in Dallas. That's very unheard of. I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen, but even the warm biased Euro model is calling for 5 degrees in Dallas when they were been well warm this entire time. So yeah, we're talking, it could be cold because we're talking, several days of freezing rain, sleet, compounded with 2 events with snow. And then you have those guys, people up north know what a snowpack does for your cold temperatures. It adds another 10 degrees to your low temperatures. And that's what we could be in for the deep south. I mean, even single digits to the coastline of Texas. I mean, it's something you just don't see. I mean, as this continued moving, and this is where it gets really just stupid crazy. I mean, wind chill showing 20 below zero in Dallas. That's just crazy stuff. I mean, I hope that doesn't happen, but it's actually shown this several times now. I mean, I do think we go below zero as wind chills, but getting 13 below in Houston, that's just insane. I mean, the all-time record, wind chill in Dallas is 18 below. So this would be historic. I mean, this would be, if this were to occur, this is something that would has never happened in history. So that's why it's very truly hard to believe. But even if it doesn't get to this extent, I mean, still, I think we get below zero wind chills. So either way, dangerous stuff. I mean, the houses in the South are just not built to withstand this type of cold, pipe busting cold. So definitely you need to winterize your houses for the deep South and even up north. I mean, this is just a crippling event for much of the United States. And this is continues moving across into the Northeast with just a more heavier snow for the Northeast. It's just this pattern. It's just relentless as it moves across. And even by Wednesday, and we were talking 8 days from now, I mean, still negative temperatures in Oklahoma City. They dropped below freezing several days ago, and we're still talking about below freezing temperatures 8 days from now. So, I mean, below zero. I mean, so yeah, this is a long duration event for much of the country as this continues moving across. And look at the snow. I mean, this is just over the next 7 days. I mean, this snow amounts are crazy. I mean, look, here's the graph. I mean, we're talking off the chart. I mean, 4 feet in some of these spots, several feet in the mountains of Idaho, getting into, Wyoming, into Colorado, into the Four Corners region. I mean, even Texas. I mean, some of these amounts are 10, 12 inches. That's a lot of snow. Getting all the way down into further into places like Waco, Austin, more snow for Austin. I mean, just last month they had their biggest snowfall total, and since 2004 it was like 4 inches, and we're talking probably another 4 to 6 inches on the way for you guys in Austin. So, and even in Arkansas, Missouri. I mean, double-digit totals over the next 7 days in Missouri. That's some crazy stuff. And then even some higher amounts into Illinois, into Indiana, into Ohio. I mean, Michigan, another 12 to 18 inches. It's not out of the question. The Northeast, you've already been hit hard in a lot of these places. Pittsburgh had plenty of snow already. I mean, we're talking another foot over the next 7 days. I mean, so a lot of these places could pick up easily another foot. Places like Washington, D.C. And here's the sleet. I mean, look at the sleet. If you're not getting hit with snow, I mean, you're getting hit with sleet. I mean, this is 1 to 2 inches of sleet over the next 7 days for portions of Houston, Louisiana, Arkansas, get into Tennessee. I mean, this is a huge chunk. So if it's snow, if it's not sleet, it's probably freezing rain all the way down to the deep South. Just so a combination of just snow, freezing rain, and sleet for the next 7 days. So I'll definitely keep you ahead of this storm. There's a lot going on, guys. I appreciate you guys watching into the end. Thanks so much for watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.